Hey everybody, Jim Darsh at Tactically Sound Training Center. I'm out here at the site training facility in Mount Carroll, Illinois, getting ready to run a 2-day class this weekend on some pistol. I had the opportunity to run my rifle a little bit down to the range with some new configurations with my Modlite and my maul as far as switching goes. Currently have the mod button and the Unity hot button mlok that I've been going back and forth on. I've got a rail lock coming for the hot button that I'm going to check out here probably in a couple days coming from Modlite, so that I can see exactly which switch I like best and which one is going to run the best for the way that I like to run my rifle. I want to do a quick video on so far my experience with the two buttons and some considerations for them. I've been seeing a lot of which one's best for what should I get. At the end of the day, your context for what your mission is, whether it's home defense, law enforcement, military, whatever your operations are, is going to drive what is best for you. But I think there's some considerations for both. So first off, the first consideration with this is that the mod button itself is a temporary only. So if you're going to run your mod button, there has to be the consideration for the fact that you won't get a constant on. We can counter that by having the correct surefire switch that would give you constant on as well, but that is a consideration that you should take into mind. Whereas the hot button has a temporary and a momentary and a constant on. You can hear that click, or that positive click of the engagement of the light going on onto a constant. So one of the reasons why I like to make sure that I have a constant on is umbrella lighting. First off, injured or a down shooter, I'm simply assembling my team in a room where I want some light, where I need to look at something. I can flip that muzzle orientation up, get my light up in the air, and put that constant on. If I have a downed officer or something that I'm running point on, or that I'm running on, I can set it in the corner, turn that light on, give myself a good umbrella lighting, so I can work whatever that situation is. Also, there are some times when I'm running something that I want to just turn that light on and not have to worry about it. So that constant on is important. So one of the considerations if you're running a mod button is that you should have the ability to run your light with a constant on. The other thing is that hand placement in relation to how you're going to run things. If you're running a laser, where you stack those switches is or can be important. One of the considerations with this setup is that having everything in line is pretty nice. I'm looking forward to getting that rail mount light, or that rail mount mod button, if you will. Rail mount hot button. I'm going to try that in front of my maul configuration as a constant on and a momentary on option in front of my laser. But having everything in line is pretty nice. So with that mod button, I just either put that thumb in the back, or if I want to mount it in front of my laser, and everything's in line. As opposed to the mlok version of the hot button, it's a little bit off here to the side, so I got to go back and forth. I think that if I wasn't running a laser, that would be a perfectly fine option to do, as I wouldn't have the considerations for having to move my thumb around at all. I could let it rest there, or just let it sit off to the side, and if I needed to, rock it down and activate that light in either momentary or constant on. But I think with having a laser in line there, it's nice to just be able to stack my finger or stack my thumb right where it needs to be, and I can run all my controls in line. I don't have to come off a little bit, adjust my grip at all. Everything is right there in line, and I can run everything from really one platform position. You guys will see that. I'm going to splice in a video here that shows from a top angle manipulation of that light and what it does with my thumb and how it affects my grip. That is a thing as well to consider. If we go with that side mlok, it is going to change your grip a little bit. Depending on how you shoot though, and depending on the placement of your handguards or where you place your hand at, it may have an effect on that grip. So it is a consideration for you to have. If you're that top C-clamp shooter, that mod button being there, no big deal. Or rail mount, and I'll hopefully do that in a future video if I spliced it into this, or I just do it on its own, is going to keep you all in line. You run your hand a little bit further back. This is a little bit of a shorty, but if you run it in more of a thumbs forward along the side rail, then it's no big deal. It's just going to sit right there, and the thumb's going to sit right there as it is. So one of the considerations for which position or which switch you may want to run may have to also do with how you run that rifle and that support hand grip, because that also may have an effect on which button you choose and which orientation you put it in, whether you go with the mlok or that rail mount, whether it be the mod button or the rail mount hot button. So let's go ahead and take a look at what these switch manipulations look like while we're shooting, so you guys can see for yourself and have an idea of what button might be best for your context. All right, so let's look at this a bit here. I'm going to switch between the mod button and the hot button. The hot button is hooked up right now for momentary and constant, so you can see the difference here. And then the ml with the switch configuration. So just activating the ml, mod button, hot button momentary, and then constant on, right back to it. So ml, mod button, hot button, so momentary, nice little press there. The mod button is only momentary, and then that constant on, giving that full click on the hot button. So I got home and my rail mount hot button was waiting for me, so I figured I'd throw it on and go ahead and splice it in here on this video. So activation of it is really nice. Right here at my thumb, right where my ml controls sit. So I go to ml, that momentary of the hot button, constant on with that good click, right there, right in line, as opposed to that side mlok or back behind the ml controls with the mod button. So that hot button rail lock mount, right there, back and forth, my primary, my secondary on my ml, or your other laser, whatever laser you're running, right there in the front, momentary, constant. So that's the rail lock hot button. Just some information for you guys and gals as you figure out which kind of switch you want to run and how it will affect your setup. But no matter what, remember, get trained, stay equipped, and be willing.